Hey there, Unsolved Mysteries fans. Weird Legacy back at you with another video. Now, I gotta admit, I wasn't really planning to do another Unsolved Mysteries video tonight. But this kind of topic was kind of fresh in my mind, and I figured I should do it before I kind of forgot. Before I kind of forgot about it, basically. And it's not really it's not a case or anything like that. It's more to have to do with like, the older show with Robert Stack, which is what I and many of you and many of other people around the world and on the YouTube community and stuff like that talk about and love and enjoy to watch, versus the revamped kind of reboot version with Dennis Farina. And I kind of touched on it a bit back when I first started doing this series, back when I was introducing it, and I was doing the Danny Castlevale case. I kind of touched on it, but I wanted to make it more about the case than I did about the show and all that. And now I've kind of I've been doing this series a few months or so now, and I've got a lot of cases that I've done, like 30-something cases that I've reviewed and give my thoughts on and stuff like that. And this thought actually just came to me just now, that I've never actually done kind of a like the Robert Stack version versus the Farina version, Dennis Farina version. I've never kind of done like a video on that, and it was something that I've been wanting to do for a while. I never really thought about doing it till like right now. And honestly, like I wasn't planning to do this video. I figured that I was not gonna use the camera and I wasn't gonna record today. I was actually just gonna do maybe a couple streams later or something. I don't know. I don't even know if I'll get to streams tonight, but because I work tomorrow, so who knows. But I wanted to do this video right now, and I'm rambling on here. So basically, I just kind of wanted to give my thoughts as to why so many people love the Robert Stack version and the Farina version like a lot less, and just kind of like the differences of the shows and what's missing from the Farina version that was in the Robert Stack version, which made the original Unsolved Mysteries so great. So the original Unsolved Mysteries with Robert Stack ran about from like 87 or 88 till about 2003. And then I think they started doing the Farina version in 2006, I think, maybe. I don't know. I'm actually going to look that up right now because I want to be factually correct with this thing. And I'm gonna, once I get my laptop and stuff loaded, I'll actually get the right date on that. Yeah, so the Farina version actually started in 2008 and ran till about 2010. So it wasn't on for too long, but yeah. So basically, I just, now that I've got that out of the way, I want to give my kind of thoughts on the differences between the two. So basically, the Robert Stack version, what made it so great was obviously Robert Stack. He made that show, with his voice, his look. Like you look back on some of the videos and like on some of the cases and the segments and stuff like that, and you watch them, and when he's talking, the guy barely blinks really, and like he blinks a little bit, but not too much, and I think that plus his voice kind of added to the creepiness of the Unsolved Mysteries episodes, where Farina, he just I think he did a good job, but he just didn't have that whole Robert Stack appeal. He didn't have the right kind of tone of voice for it. Robert Stack kind of had like a more deeper kind of tone, where Farina, his voice wasn't as deep, I don't think. And I gotta admit, I've seen a lot less of the Dennis Farina versions than I did the Robert Stack episodes. So I've seen the Robert Stack episodes. I couldn't even tell you how many times I'd watched them, but yeah, I've maybe only seen the Farina version maybe once or twice. And but yeah, anyway, so when it comes to Unsolved Mysteries, nobody could, no one else, in my opinion, could host that role or could be the host of that show better than Robert Stack. I know there was a couple other guys that did it, and for whatever reason, like if Robert Stack was away or something like that, I think a couple of guys filled in for him and did like a few episodes or something here and there. But those guys were alright. They had the voice for it and stuff like that. But once again, nobody can touch Stack because Robert Stack, he just had this appeal to him that his voice and just I've seen many people talk about this, that the guy just never blinked really at all. And that could kind of freak people out. Like he was like looking at you through the screen and focusing on you as he talked about the case, whether it was a murder. He'd be like, this case has gone unsolved, and somewhere, somehow, somewhere, somebody knows the answer. Or like, there's a murder out there, and somehow, some way, or there's somebody out there getting away with murder. And I don't know how good that Stack impression was, but you guys can let me know. But just the fact that he would do that, creeped out of you. I remember having nightmares of that, and that's what made that show so successful, and what made people keep wanting to watch. Now what also another thing too about that was different with the Stack version from the Farina version was, you'd watch the segments, right? And sometimes it would cut back to Robert Stack, and he'd be walking like through a forest or like through a police station or a jailhouse or a hospital or something like that, and that was always funny. He'd just be walking out of these random places sometimes. I'd be like, what? But it was cool. It made the show more cool, and that's what I always liked about it. Where the Farina version, it always took place from the studio, where some episodes of the Robert Stack version took place from the telecenter and stuff like that, and so yeah, that was always cool. Where you'd see Robert Stack just walking, like just in these random places when they'd cut back to him, and he'd be talking about the segment that just aired and stuff like that. I always found that entertaining, and it was pretty cool. So that was also missing from the Farina version, and another thing that I want to touch on too is it just the Robert Stack version and the Dennis Farina version, the Stack version felt more darker. It felt more darker and mysterious and had that mystique about it. Where the Dennis Farina version didn't really have that. It didn't have that dark, mysterious kind of mystique feel that Robert Stack had, like the Stack version had, and that was because of Robert Stack. And that's also what made the show, was that mysterious, that mystiqueness of the show that made it work so well. And I gotta admit, I don't have really too many points to go over here, but and another thing too is Robert Stack version. It introduced a lot of new cases. Every episode there'd be a new case. Where the Farina version, I don't really think they did a whole lot of new cases. They just kind of reviewed. They just kind of redid the older ones. At least some. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. If somebody knows, let me know in the comments. But I remember one of the episodes I was watching. They were doing the how was that case? Trying to think of it. It was the one where Matthew McConaughey was in it, and it was about I forget the guy's name, but the guy had I guess he stepped out of his truck or something like that, and his pants were down. He was like exposing himself to children, and the the guy who Matthew McConaughey was playing, I forget his name now, which is funny because I forget the yeah, I forget his name, but if you guys remember, let me know in the comments. But yeah, I remember the episode specifically because I remember the segment mostly because of Matthew McConaughey. Because it was like, yeah, cool, Matthew McConaughey. I didn't expect at the time, Matthew. At the time I was watching it, it was around 2001, 2002. Because that's when I was really getting into the show. Around that time, like I was 10, 11, 12, around that time. And, around by that time, Matthew McConaughey was already a pretty big actor at the time. So to see him in that show, that was pretty cool. Oh yeah, now I remember the guy's name. I don't remember his last name, but his name was Larry. I know that. His name was Larry. I don't remember his last name, but yeah, his name was Larry. I know that now. Like the guy who was shot, that Matthew McConaughey played. His name was Larry. And that was a good case as well. It was interesting, and the guy was caught for that. The guy who was exposing himself for children. I don't remember his name, but anyway, I'm getting off topic here. But yeah, like so at least to me, it seemed like the Farina case was just taking what was old, and kind of taking Robert Stack's voice and and stuff like that out, and just kind of replacing it with Dennis Farina. And I remember thinking to myself, like, if they're just gonna like redo these cases and stuff like that, why not just show the old episodes? It would make a lot more sense to do that than just kind of remake and reproduce these episodes with a different host, and when more people wanted Robert Stack. So yeah, like I can't really think of anything else really to add to this, just those few points that I brought up there, it just wasn't as good as it once was, when Robert Stack was hosting it. Like I said, when Robert Stack was hosting it, it had that more dark, mysterious kind of appeal, and at least with me, I remember watching some episodes, and it would be like an unsolved murder or something like that. And Robert Stack would, come back after the segment and he'd talk about, that the murderer was never found or anything like that, and he'd talk about it could be it could be anybody, your next door neighbor or something like that. This guy could be anywhere in the world, and it would, I don't know about you guys, but it would creep me out, and I would have nightmares about that. And I remember being 10, 11, 12 years old, just going at, kind of hiding under my covers at night sometimes, because at that time, I was living in the country and whatnot, and my bed was right underneath my window, so I would always hide under my covers for whatever reason. I did that for quite a while until I kind of grew older and just it was it's a 1 in a million chance that anything would happen. We lived out in the country, and it wasn't like we were in the city or anything, but I still just kind of watching that show would always put that little bit of fear in me that something could happen. And but I still watched the show despite that, and I always kept coming back because I loved the show. And the Farina version, it didn't have that kind of appeal. Now, I was older when that show was on, like I said, it was 2008, 2010, so, I was my mid to late teens at that time. So, I kind of grew up now, but just, the memories of being a kid and stuff like that, and actually just hiding under my covers at night just because, I just finished watching Unsolved Mysteries, and, I'm sure many of you have memories like that as well, just because that's just the impact that version of the show had, and, just the Farina version just didn't have that was the problem. And, like I said, they just, if they were going to do Unsolved Mysteries, they shouldn't have even, done the shows like that. They should have just reran the old episodes, and you know they probably would have got more views. Now, I've heard that the Farina version still airs. I haven't seen it here in Canada at all, and you know we have Lifetime and stuff. I've heard it's on Lifetime. I don't know if it still is or not. If you guys know, let me know, and you know maybe I'll check it out and you know kind of get more of a better outlook on those newer episodes, and I can actually you know see what it's about. But you know if I'm right about that and they never did do new cases or whatever, you know let me know. But yeah, you know I think that's why you know so many people were outraged. You know just you know when all the episodes on YouTube were taken down, because you know like I had heard you know for a long time they from like I don't know about 2003 till I don't know probably 2006 7 before the newer version came out, they used to replay the Robert Stack episodes all the time, and then when the new show came out, they stopped doing that. I know that, and then you know from what I've heard, they replay those ones, but they don't replay the Robert Stack ones. And for whatever reason, I don't know why they do that. I don't even know if Unsolved Mysteries is still on TV anywhere else. Like I said, you know here in Canada, I've never seen it on TV. I haven't seen it on TV in quite a long time. I know it used to be on Lifetime, but like I said, you know, I haven't seen it on Lifetime in quite a while, so I don't know what it's like in other parts of the countries. But you know, any of you that that live in different parts of the countries, let me know, and you know, because that's interesting. Because like I said, you know, I don't know if it is or not, but yeah, if it is, let me know, and you know, I keep rambling on, just kind of going over the same kind of stuff. But yeah, you know, like I think that's just kind of why people were more outraged, just because that Stack version just kind of had that appeal where the Dennis Farina version it just didn't have that, and you know that's why I you know kind of go through the internet and go through YouTube trying to look for like the old Stack episodes, because you know they don't show them in Canada anymore, and you know it's a shame. Maybe they do. I don't know. You know, I really haven't paid attention to Lifetime. Maybe I should. I don't know. But you know, I'll look through Lifetime and you know see if I can ever find Unsolved Mysteries on there. You know, if they ever did start replaying the episodes, the old Robert Stack episodes, that is, you know, that would be pretty cool. And you know, I wouldn't have to scour YouTube anymore, really. And but you know, I don't believe it is. But you know, I'll try and see what I can dig up, see if maybe it's still being shown. Because you know, I don't know. I don't really watch a whole lot of TV. Like I do, but I usually stick to only like some channels. And you know what I mean? Like with there's so many different shows nowadays. You know, it's hard to keep up with other channels and stuff like that. So you know, I don't watch a whole like. I watch a huge variety, but like not like a bunch of different channels. So you know, if Unsolved Mysteries is on, you know, I wouldn't know. But yeah, you know, I wanted to do this quick video, and you know, like I said, you know, it's a lot harder for me to do this video because, like I said, you know, I hadn't really seen much of the Farina version than I had the Robert Stack version. But you know, I just kind of wanted to do this and you know, kind of give my thoughts on it. So if you like this video, give a like, subscribe, comment, and let me know your comments. As usual, my PSN and Twitter link will be in the description. And that's pretty much all I got to say for this video right now. And I'll see you in the next one. We're it.